Welcome to the October Fire Chiefs video message. This month, instead of Battalion Chief Kevin Frazier, I have Emily Crown here with me. Emily, how did you end up here today and not Kevin?
Well, Kevin called me when I was on vacation and said he'd like to switch, and I said sure. So
Excellent, good deal. You reached out back in June, give or take, and asked to come to the table and bring some information. A lot of folks probably don't know what you do for MCFRS. You've been with us and consumer protection before for quite a long time. And those that know you know that you're the voice and the face of car seats and Safe Kids Montgomery for MCFRS. Can you tell us about the car safety program and car seat program?
sure, we do a lot of different things with the car seat program. Obviously, we check car seats, and we do that 5 times a week. We also train people to be certified car seat technicians, and I can discuss that a little later. We do outreach events. Our biggest one's probably the Montgomery County Fair, but multiple times people ask us to come to their locations and train employees or come to health fairs, or we've been involved with the open houses this month. We also have a voucher program for low-income families to get a seat at a reduced price. So they get a seat for $25 is the current price, and instead of the full market value. We have a loaner program. Predominantly that is for preemies or children with special needs. I have specialized seats if a child's in a hip spica cast or something like that and wouldn't fit in a conventional seat. And we also have a loaner program for very short term, say somebody's flying in from England with a 3-year-old visiting somebody for a few days and they need a car seat. So we run all those different things.
You say we. Who's we? Describe your team.
Okay, we have about 100 people that help us out in some way, shape, or form in the car seat program. Most of those are car seat technicians, and so they've been through the training. We have people from the career side of MCFRS and the volunteer side. We also have people from the police department, park police, nurses from local hospitals. There are a number of technicians from Westat, for example, in Rockville, other organizations as well. So anybody who's been through the training can help us out. And so many of those people help at these outreach events as well as at the car seat checks.
You said that you do 5 weekly events.
Mm-hmm.
Describe what an event may entail and how people find out, the citizens, citizens and those that need checks find out about the checks and can schedule for the checks.
Okay, well, if you go to the MCFRS website under community outreach, there is a link to schedule a car seat appointment. And also, if you go under community outreach and click the link for caregivers and parents, there's a lot of information about car seats right there and our flyers and so on. So all of our seat checks are done by appointment so that we have the right number of technicians for the right number of appointments so that people don't have to wait unnecessarily. And so they set up their appointments. They usually run around a week behind, but if somebody is very specific and only wants to come on a Saturday or only wants to come to an evening appointment, they could be waiting several weeks. So they schedule the appointment. We do seat checks at 4 different locations in the county. We're at Fire Station 34 in Germantown on Wednesday mornings and the second Saturday of the month. We're at Old Station 25 on Tuesday and Thursday mornings and the first Saturday of the month. And we're at Criswell Chevrolet in Gaithersburg on Thursday evenings and the third Saturday of the month. And then in addition to that, we have the Fitzgerald Open Seat Check event. That's the one event that doesn't require an appointment.
Right, and that's Fitzgerald in
Rockville,
Nicholson Lane.
Yeah, 5501 Nicholson. And anybody can show up there without an appointment the third Thursday of the month. This month it would be October 15th. And they just show up anytime between 10 and 12:30 and they get seen, because that's the event where all of our volunteers, a huge number of Fitzgerald employees are trained. They've checked well over 45,000 seats just at their location alone in the last 16 years. And so a lot of people from different jurisdictions come and help out at that event, which is why we can make it an open event. But otherwise, ours are all by appointment.
So what's involved in becoming a technician? And
There's a lot of training involved. Usually, when I first heard about car seats and somebody told me it was a 3 or 4 day course, I was like, do I have moron written on my forehead? Why on earth does it take that long? But before you can even learn about putting in a car seat, you have to learn about the stuff in the vehicles, the lower anchors, the seat belts, the retractors, the latch plates, airbags, and how all those things interact with car seats. So there's a lot in the training involving that. There's also some injury prevention materials and what happens in a crash, in a frontal crash, a rear end crash, side crash, and so on. And then there are very specific chapters and sections on rear facing seats, forward facing seats, booster seats, and how to properly buckle up in a seatbelt. So it takes a long time.
So what are the threshold, the benchmarks in Maryland for size, age, and booster or forward facing?
Okay, well, there are sort of two things when people ask, when does a 2-year-old, how does a 2-year-old ride? For every child, we need to know their weight, their height, their age, and if they have any special considerations, any special needs. It's not all 2-year-olds who weigh 25 pounds are the same. So the Maryland law just says that children need to ride in car seats until they are at least 8 years old, and that they have to use them according to the manufacturer's instructions. That's all the law says. The law doesn't say front seat, back seat, rear facing, forward facing, just they have to be in a seat minimally to age 8, and they have to use it correctly. The car seat manufacturers then have different instructions. There are well over 100 different car seats out on the market at any given time, and there's over 500 models of cars. That's what makes it so complex, because every seat goes in differently. And so, for example, one manufacturer might say their car seat can only be used forward facing when a child is 2, and another manufacturer might say you can only use it rear facing to 30 pounds. Another one could say 40 pounds. Right. So there's lots of different parameters. But the short answer to your question is we want children to ride rear facing as long as possible, because it's 5 times safer than forward facing.
5 times.
5 times safer. So it, ideally till at least age 2. There are plenty of children that come to our seat checks that are over 2 that are still rear facing. But at least age 2, or until they've outgrown the height and weight for rear facing. And then we want them forward facing in a harness, as long as that harness still fits them. And then after that, a booster seat, and that's where they're in a seat for a long, long time. Most children don't fit properly in the seat belt in your vehicle until somewhere between 8 and 12, most between 10 and 12. So just because the law says that on their 8th birthday they could ride in a seat belt, most children do not properly fit. So we're going to always be telling them to follow the best practice guidelines.
And so when somebody comes in with a booster and a 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, you can show them how the value of the booster to their specific child's making stature benefits them staying in that booster seat.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of families, if you have a very small back seat and you can adjust the height of your shoulder belt, a child's going to fit in that seat in a seat belt sooner than if you're in a big captain's chair and you can't adjust the height of the seat belt. So we'll go over, there are some children that might fit in dad's car and not mom's car, so we'll go over buckling them up with the seat belt, buckling them up with the booster, showing the parents the difference.
Good deal. Now, you talked about statistics and the 45,000 checks that have occurred at Fitzgerald. What are your number of seats inspected or number of vouchers provided? What's the impact that the program has made over the years?
Well, we've checked huge numbers of seats over the last, I've been involved in the Montgomery County program for 16 years. There have probably been car seats installed in Montgomery County for 18 or 19 years, but the program really took off in around 2000, 1999, 2000. And we check right now probably just under 6,000 seats a year. And if you keep in mind that each car seat inspection takes about a half an hour, and I'll go over what we do at a seat check, why it takes a half an hour in a second. We probably distribute a little over 500 voucher seats a year, and that's been pretty consistent throughout the years. It's kind of creeping up now, we might get close to 600 this year. And as seats get more expensive and more people find out about the program, then the need grows. But obviously, we have monetary restraints on that. We probably participate in about 50 to 60 outreach events each year. And again, the biggest one is that 8 or 9 days in a row at the fair.
Right.
We probably do about 40 loaner seats every year. And I deal with children with special health care needs probably a couple times each month. So
there's clearly a volume of work, clearly a volume of impact to 6,000 seats a year, and how that articulates into a lot of children over decade.
The other thing that has really increased is a number of calls. We get MC311 has, as I said, we have information on the website. There are some questions they can answer, but I get an enormous number of phone calls about questions about specific seats or specific situations, which seats go in which cars. The call volume can be 900 calls a month. I mean, it's just relentless how many calls we get. So that's a huge amount of what we do too.
Now, why does a seat inspection take 30 minutes? What does that entail?
Well, when they come in, we document how the seat was on arrival, where it was in the car, how it was installed. Was it installed with a seat belt? Was it installed with a lower anchor system? Was a tether used? We take the model number off of the seat and the date of manufacture, because car seats expire after a certain number of years. It differs from manufacturer to manufacturer.
What's the general term on
well,
seats
a lot
life?
of seats expire after 6 years, but now that they're going to higher weights and so on, some of the manufacturers have increased that to 7 years or 9 years, or even a couple that are 10. There are some that are 5, so you still have to check the instructions on that. If there's a recall, we look up in our recall list if the seat is still safe to use until the recall's fixed, what the parent has to do. We instruct them how to get the part, then that usually means they come back with it to get it fixed. And then we go over how the seat itself was installed. Is it installed tightly enough? It shouldn't move more than an inch where the seat belt or the lower anchor strap goes through. And we make sure that the belt's locked and that's appropriate. And then what a lot of people think it's just, is my car seat in tight? But the other equally important factor is how well the child is secured in the seat. Are the harnesses going through the right slots on the seat? Is the harness tight enough? Is the chest clip at the right location? Do the parents know how to tighten and loosen the straps? What to do when their child grows and gets taller, and all of that. So there's a lot involved.
And you've got cases, feedback, and stories from successes.
Right. It's, when things go well and things work well, not everybody thinks, obviously, to let us know, but I've probably received at least 40 letters in the last 16 years of people saying, thank God for your program, we were in a head-on crash, that type of thing, and my child was fine. So we do hear about those.
And those are moments that you cherish because it's a success, and it's prevented the 911 call.
Absolutely.
By having the car seat component done. How can everybody in MCFRS, all the personnel, those that are not technicians, how can the people within MCFRS help the car seat program?
Well, the first thing you can do is give people our phone number. I have flyers available that show all the different locations we check seats, the times, the addresses, the phone number. I can get that to any station that doesn't have it. So you can distribute the flyer, you can give them our phone number. Don't miss any opportunity to stress the importance of buckling up, whether it's a child or an adult. If you're sitting at a light and you look down, somebody's not buckled up, make the sign. And the other thing that people can do is, if you're running a call and it involves a child in a car seat, if you can let me know about that, or if you use the car seat on the EMS units, let me know. That will give me some feedback as to how often these things are being used, if people need any help or have any questions about using them.
Because you actually are providing these car seats on all of the EMS units too, and
the car seat
ensuring
program.
they're safe, accurate, within years of service as well. So it's not just a private car that you're looking at. You're looking at how we transport children through the car seats.
Yeah, we do that with like Child Welfare Services and Health and Human Service. They frequently have updates from us on how to transport children in county vehicles as well. So. reach out to other departments.
So, one of the things that I ask all of my guests to do is to come with a question or come with questions. What questions did you want to throw my way?
I was curious how the construction's going at the new Public Safety Training Academy. Is that on target, on schedule? I pass the site frequently, and it looks like a lot's happening there.
It is crazy, and I say that with a positive smile, and a component is there's no doubt that Hess Construction is going gangbusters. Chief Clemens is still a active presence in the project. Sends us usually about a once a week update with pictures. Hess is rolling along. They have all the buildings almost underway because they have concrete folks working on this building and steel folks working on that building. With the number of different structures there, that they have a lot of different work going on all the buildings at the same time. Ultimately, their goal is to get the academic building and the high bay building, and you'll see pictures of those here, under roof before winter comes, so they can obviously sustain working successfully and safely throughout the winter time. Schedule, they are on schedule. Their goal is to be significantly completed by July and summertime next year, 2016, and by this time next year, October 2016, we should be in the transition phase from Great Seneca Highway to Snafford School. They're again rolling along, and the academy staff was up there a couple weeks ago visiting the site itself, and there's no doubt that the transition will cause us to have a little bit of delay in delivery of activities at the academy, but we'll be able to go to some very purposely built training facilities to improve some of our operations, because we're now in an all-weather environment, be able to do things year-round on quote-unquote the burn building, as we used to be prohibited, or doing it in freezing weather or ultra-hot weather. But yep, they are rolling along, and if you drive up Snafford School Road, you'll see changes every time you drive by, because they are just moving along significantly. So thank you for the question, and clearly want to have activities. We had the groundbreaking, back in the spring, and hopefully we can have the ribbon cutting, and by 12 months from now.
Wow. That's great. I do notice changes. I go by there every single day, and it looks different every time I go by.
Yep. So one of the things that I clearly like to try to do is recognition, and your question dovetailed pretty well into a group of folks that had several comments have come through in the last month about, and it's about the academy. Chief Jones, Captain Silverman, Chief Bartlett, Captain, Lieutenant, all the nurse practitioners. I don't want to name names because I'm going to miss a name.
Okay.
They've all stepped up and done a yeoman's job over the last several months. That's no different than what they're doing every day, but there was a surge of folks that wanted to take the summer EMT class. Normally we have one summer EMT class and one summer essentials class. This year we had 70-some folks sign up for summer EMT. Captain Silverman and the staff at the academy made it possible, and we ran 2 concurrent summer EMT classes. Graduated some number close to 70 folks. EVOC, as an example, there was a overabundance of folks registered for a specific EVOC class, and that was causing people to be waitlisted. Lieutenant Schaefer changed, was able to support another class being held, and got another driver's training class going so that we could get some folks qualified and checked out. Another recent example is some special requests were provided for classes and class opportunities, and off hours we supported an off-site EMT class that an LFRD was wishing to hold and was supportive, and that turned out to be a great success, as well as different thinking about how to do EMT research and such, so that folks that had certain limitations could still obviously get the research while still fitting within their limitations. So they have done, great cooperation, understanding, and make it get done or get the right attitude towards making it happen. So really want to acknowledge the folks at the Academy for that process. And as we talked about, they're going to be and already are planning to move to Schnoffer School, and that will continue on and only improve the opportunities that they have to provide excellent training. There's no doubt. One of the things that I wanted to highlight here for the folks within the department is the county's Live Well initiative and their focus on the health and health benefits of getting active and jumping on board the Live Well initiative. You may have seen the email. You may have been a little surprised or leery of some of the titles of the emails, but OHR, in conjunction with Virgin Pulse, is teamed up and initiating a program where there's health and well-being skills, healthy habits, additional classes, fitness trackers. The Chiefs, the Chiefs are in a challenge between Chief Manger, Chief Green from Corrections, and myself, challenging some of the folks on the second floor, the Chief Administrative Officers, on how to which group can do more steps or more weight loss. Clearly, the general medical guidance talks about, hey, 10,000 steps a day keeps you active and is a baseline of what people should be thinking about. But this program gives you these fitness trackers, gives you some motivations, and I'd like to encourage the folks at the station level to go to the OHR's website, sign up, get one of the Virgin Pulse trackers, the Max here itself. Maybe it's an A shift versus B shift challenge. Maybe it's the Thursday night crew challenge and the Friday night crew. Maybe it's Station 1 challenge and Station 2 and something of that nature. Obviously, we're all competitive pretty much by nature, and when we make a competition out of it, we'll get more results, and ultimately, we're going to be better and healthier, more specifically, out of that. So I want to encourage everybody to go back to OHR's website, take a look at it, go back to that email, look at signing up for the Virgin Pulse component, and jumping on board with that component. So that's my pitch and my request to everybody to get healthier, as use the benefits from OHR.
Great.
So clearly you were supposed to be next month's guest, but you're here today. So Battalion Chief Kevin Frazier will be in next month from Fire Investigations to talk about fire investigations and some of the components from their office, because while we only see them on the scenes after a fire, there's a lot that goes on within that office, and that office has recently moved into the Special Operations section. So Kevin will be here with us next month. So anything to add before we close out, Emily?
I really appreciate you letting me be here and explain the program, and I do want to publicly thank everybody who helps the car seat program, all of the technicians. The names too numerous to count, but we have so many that just relentlessly, faithfully show up at seat checks and help people, and I couldn't do it without them. They're just fantastic. And for those of you who are at stations and people drop by and say, what do I do? Just give them our phone number, give them the flyer. That is helping. And certainly if there is a certified tech there, if they want to assist somebody, calls allowing, that's fine. But otherwise, just forward people to us, give out our flyers, and keep on doing the good work. And if you can give me any feedback, that would be great.
And clearly, if the folks don't have some of your flyers, shoot you an email.
Absolutely.
They'll get a new supply. As you said, prominently post the car seat check phone number. So when somebody comes in, we don't have to look for it. So put it in a couple different places. And there's no doubt that we're making an influence. Your group is making an influence, and I want to say thank you very much for that.
It's wonderful. At seat checks every day, parents thank us. They are really put at ease. They feel so much better, and that makes us feel well. We get a lot of good feedback.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, thank you for coming, Emily.
You're very welcome.
As we roll into October, Halloween is soon upon us. We're going to have to be looking out for the trick-or-treaters as we go through that period of time. Also understand that leaves are down, roads are slippery, And driving safety is going to be a paramount as we prepare for the winter. But at the same time, again, let's prepare for the winter and hopefully have a good one, or a not cold and snowy one. So, till next month, take care, stay safe.